Here.
Mr. Nolan.
Here.
Mr. Nico.
Here.
Mr. James.
Here.
Mr. Nixon.
Here.
And myself. We have a quorum. How about approval of checks 13805 through 13857 from the general fund? Do I have a motion to approve?
I make a motion.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Nico, second by, a motion by Mr. Nonaly, second by Mr. Nico. Any discussion?
Yes, I just have one question. In the past, we always gave permission for people to go to conferences. I just wanted to know if you had asked anyone to go.
In the beginning of the year, we did. That if anybody was interested, they needed to contact the office.
There is one being announced right now, a legislative one. So I just got an email on it today. So until I get, or the borough gets any more particulars on it. Didn't have a date, but it said they were announcing it.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, how about the sewer fund, check number 1895 through 1897?
I make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Nonaly, second by Mr. Nico. Any discussion on those three checks? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Approval of August 2014 receipts and deposits as presented to you.
I make the motion.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Nonaly, second by Mr. Nico. Any discussion? Somebody's talking. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Approval of minutes from the months of June, July, and August are in front of you.
I make a motion.
A motion by Mr. Nonaly,
Second. Approval.
a second by Mr. Paul James. Any discussion?
Yes, in the June minutes, the young soldier that was here, he made comments that are not included in the minutes that he talked to Mr. Bovieri about the situation.
Okay, we can add that.
Yeah, to clarify that also, I had a meeting with Mr. Bagari, the father that is there, and it wasn't the borough of West Easton. They admitted to the fact that it wasn't the borough of West Easton that dropped the ball. We had everything decorated. They just didn't feel like doing it this year. That came right from June. And if you want to go talk to him, you can go talk to him, because that's exactly what happened.
Okay, we can change that. We can amend the minutes. That's not a problem.
But so we can clarify it, you have to update the minutes.
We will amend the minutes to add those two items. All right, what about the others?
July?
But I wasn't forgotten because the wreath was put out. I went, because I was being the way I was with it all the time while they were putting the wreath in, and I was going to make sure that it was going to be there.
We'll add that the mayor and
What's that?
we'll add that the mayor and Mr. Nico had their own ceremony.
Yeah, it was me, the mayor,
I have pictures.
and Tom Nolan
Okay.
there. So it wasn't a complete loss as far as that goes. That West Easton forgot it. West Easton didn't forget it because the ones ones that care, made sure that it was followed through on.
Okay, good enough. Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Notley, second by Mr. James. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm
Opposed?
not gonna vote Kelly because I wasn't president of the board there. I'm just gonna-
You'll abstain.
Yeah.
She's a same abstain, okay. Okay, fine. Motion carries. We have public comment.
August,
August?
I never made a motion to hire a clerk. The mayor made a suggestion to hire a borough manager, and my motion was to seek information and maybe advertise for that position.
Was that in a motion form or just a suggestion?
It was in motion form, and it was I worded it like look into hiring, but if you disagree with the word look into, which means research, or it doesn't mean hire, it means look into.
Right, I never made a motion to hire a clerk.
Well, it doesn't say a motion to hire a clerk.
Mine does.
It says looking into. That means
Looking into
researching,
researching of hiring a borough
which
manager.
is what it said.
Borough manager.
Clerk, sure.
No, I never said anything about clerk.
Fine, then we'll amend it to manager. I thought you were taking issue with the looking into.
No, I was taking an issue, I made it clear. I said
Okay.
the mayor
All right,
made a
I got it.
suggestion to hire
I got it.
a manager.
Don't be out of order, you don't need to repeat yourself. Okay, all in favor?
Subject to that amendment.
No, all amendments.
Oh, right, okay.
All amendments. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, public comment, please. Mrs. Hutton.
My name is Linda Hutton, I live on Ridge Street. And I've been down in the office twice to complain about 813 Ridge, which is abandoned, been empty for, I think, more than a year now. That the backyard is full of debris, garbage. I think there's even a small pool with stagnant water in it and high weeds. And nothing's been done yet, and my request is just that the yard get cleaned up. The house next door to it is for sale, and I don't see how anyone's ever going to buy that house. You take one look at the yard next door to it, and you walk right away. I just request that something be done about at least cleaning up the yard.
We do have pictures. 813, we took a picture of the
You don't have
front.
enough of the yard, do you have more of the yard though?
Absolutely, but I'm making sure you knew it was 813 that we took pictures of.
Okay.
I have the front porch, which
Yeah.
had a crowd, bunch of crowd
Yeah,
on it.
that's on the front.
I have the back where the back door is open
Yeah.
and you can get into it, or animals can,
Yeah.
whatever, vermin. And I also have a picture of the yard.
So,
And we have been trying to find who owns the property, which bank owns the property before we take action.
isn't it owned by those people that fix up houses and then try to resell them?
We called a couple people and they're not responsible for it.
So you don't know who owns
So
it?
we just keep trying.
It's Phoenix, in Devers, they don't have on the other.
Well, I mean, it's just that, you know, we all, those
I
are,
mean, as soon as you came down, these pictures are dated 8/7,
okay.
2014.
All I'm asking is that, you know, progress be made on it because it's a health hazard and it's not nice to live by. And I'm sure none of you would be wanting an act being near it.
What is our practice here? We have like an ordinance where we would send it out to them, and then if we have it, we would cut it ourselves with our borough people and send them a bill?
If we had cut it after it had, the code people, and if they don't respond in so many days, then we cut it at the personnel rate.
Normally, that's resolved under the property maintenance code.
Yeah,
But if we have to go a step further, then yes, and it's $50 an hour if the borough does it.
well, we did, we had that problem on Front and Keystone.
Right.
And they came at that meeting, and we had that cleared up. In fact, the guy even put a new porch roof on and everything. So it works, but sometimes it takes time till you find out.
But in the meantime, it's, you know, breeding
Right.
whatever. I know there's skunks because I have to watch going in my backyard, but I'm not saying that you know, you can have skunks anywhere, that's just a given when there's, you know, some woods or anything around, but it's just, well, it's not a place to live by, that's all I want to say.
What's the address?
Pardon?
The address?
813 Ridge. It's been empty for well over a year. And the one next to it is for sale now. They've at least fixed that one up. And it's got a for sale sign. But I wouldn't even think, I'd turn around and walk away if I were looking at that house. If I just looked next door, I'd say, oh my God, I'm not going to live near here. I've been in this borough all my life. And I'm 2 generations before me. And I just can't believe what's happening. And some of it's getting look like the slums.
I want to thank you for taking the time to come up and address us. Thanks very much for coming to the meeting and getting involved. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Tricia Mezzataka, 817 Ridge Street. I'm here for the same reason I spoke at the last meeting. I'm still waiting now. It's been 3 months, probably about 4 phone calls, 4 or 5 emails, request by my mother for this ordinance that was referred to in an enforcement letter, and I've never received any notice of this ordinance.
Well, the letter that was, I'm just going to address this briefly and then we'll move on because it's pending out there, but the letter that was addressed to your mother. So the borough's response was to your mother, who now we believe is the property owner. I'm requesting that you put this request in writing. I don't know if the mayor was aware that your mother now owns the property, so you're not the owner of the property.
Okay,
So
I was at the last meeting though, and I was told by Mayor Gross that I don't have to make a right to know request for an
No, I
ordinance.
didn't say that. I said I would try to get it for you. And once I checked into it, the way I understood it was that a copy of that went with the situation to your mother.
Your mother.
But I didn't know why it went to your mother because I didn't know
No,
that.
she and I
I don't know
both
what happened with the
received
property.
the
Did
same
you sell the
letter.
property?
What?
Did you sell the property?
Yes, I did.
No.
So it was addressed to your mother. I know because I addressed the letter. I didn't address it to you.
Right, however, I did receive it, and it said it was a letter of enforcement. And
I'm telling you that
and it
this
said,
issue is between the
according to-
property owner, which is your mother, and
Well,
the borough.
ma'am-
Hold on, the property owner and the borough, which is your mother.
Well-
If you are a third party, I'm requesting that you send it in a right to know request. I don't believe the mayor was aware of that fact.
my
at the
mother's
last
already
meeting.
requested the information.
I don't have it in writing. I don't have that request from her in writing.
When she sent the payment back to you, it was $141.75.
It didn't come to me, so I'll look, if she did request that already.
She did ask
Then
for,
I'll mail it to her, but I wasn't aware that your mother, who's the property owner, who this issue is with, sent that, and I will have no problem if, I don't have a copy of that, and I'll get it from the borough, so I have no problem providing that to your mother as a request.
that's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Okay, and on another note, you know, the right to know process in this borough takes about 3 years to get any information, and I don't believe it is prudent or necessary to ask somebody to put in a right to know request for an ordinance that was part of an enforcement letter. Thank you.
Anybody else?
I'm Robert Lewis. I was here last month and spoke about obtaining this open seat that's on council. I put a letter of intent in, and I was asked to bring another letter and put some specifics in that letter, which I have now.
Let me see that letter. I think we already received it and council already has it. Apparently you gave it to somebody else, and they gave it to Louis, and, yeah, I have this already, thank you. I do. I have this letter,
No, that's
and I have this letter. Is this the correct letter? I believe so.
It's not signed. That one
It
side.
doesn't matter, it says the same thing. Yes,
So does
no,
everybody have a copy of that now?
absolutely.
This is that. They're reading it over there right now.
The first letter that you sent on 11th, and the second letter on the 20th. I have it.
Who did you get that from?
Mr. Nico.
I'd like to know how he got it.
I gave it to him.
I'm the
I gave it-
chairman for the borough. I got the floor. Quiet.
I just wanted to tell you that.
Yeah.
He asked Mr. Lewis. Mr. Lewis was on.
I'm gonna answer it.
No,
No,
he
Mr.
didn't-
Lewis
he
will ask
didn't
me.
address you.
Did we have the, okay, I'll take it over here. Got it.
Is there a question?
Yes. When did you give Mr. Leo, yeah, Leo the letter?
I didn't.
Who got it though?
You'll have to ask.
I don't know how he got that letter.
Well, you'll have to ask him that.
Is that really of major concern? How's it matter how they got the letter? They got the letter.
Hey, you keep quiet too. I'm gonna be on your page in a couple
All
minutes.
right, yeah, I'm ready for you
Hang
too.
on, the reason is he's the Democratic chairman of the borough of West Easton, and the person who left the seat is a Democrat. And
This should have came to me.
usually letters of intent, interest, whatever, come to the Democratic chairman, who will discuss it with.
I guess it was just a it's not official procedure, but just a practice that
It's
that's
just
how.
normally how it works, because previously, Mr. DePaul was the Democratic chairman, and generally, he would always make sure, you know, the party, are you registered, this, that, you know, and he actually was like the role model for how this all started. He kept things organized.
All right, that was all right. Now I got the floor.
Hang on a minute, you need to be recognized. You just not like, I got the floor, I got the floor.
Well, if
We
you're
need
not,
to have
if
some
you're,
order
right, if
here.
you're done, I want the floor. Thank
We
you.
need to have some order, please.
Well, I want to answer
And
the
not
question.
shopping each other's, we're not having a meeting like you had last month.
I want to have the
So
floor.
everybody chill out and take it down a notch.
I'd like to have the floor to answer that question. Yeah, there's a question on the floor, I want to answer it. I drove past Mr. Lewis' house, he gave me the letter, because I'm on council, and I figured I should go to Mr. Nico, because he's vice president, so I gave it to him. That's the end of it.
Okay,
It's none of my business.
that's fine, but normally you set up the whole procedural thing, and it's funny how you just give it and skip.
I gave it to the vice president
Skip
of the
the
council.
chairman.
It wasn't, because he's the one that asked for it at the last meeting.
No, we took it.
No, wait, hang on.
I didn't ask you, I had to tell Mr. Lewis there that the letter he had given me at the meeting
Right.
was just a statement that he was interested, there's nothing in there about what he was gonna do or anything.
Right.
And I told him that to take back the letter that he had given me at that time, and give us another letter that explains and tells us what his desires are, what he can do for the council, and put it in writing and submit another letter to the committee for the to the office in there. And I asked our solicitor here if that's what I should do, and she says yes, and that's what was done. It was all done with the other papers that was turned in to, I think they were all turned in to the staff members, right?
I don't have a
Yeah.
copy. What the gentleman gave us last week was
Yeah.
turned into the office.
Well, that's why when I wrote mine, they gave it to me, recognized me, I figured I'd give it to you, because
And I,
you're the one that asked for it.
Alright, it's not that big a
Yeah, it's
deal.
not that big of a
It's
deal.
going
He
through
could
the
have
chair.
said, I gave it to Dan DePaul. That's all he needed to say, not, I don't know. He could have just
He
said,
said
I
he did not
saw,
know
I
who he
saw
was,
Mr.
yeah.
I saw Mr. DePaul, I gave it to him, and maybe you should ask him, because I don't know what happened after I gave it to Mr. DePaul. And that would be the end of it, because he gave it to you, and if that's the fact, then that's what happened. It doesn't matter, all this arguing over something that he could have told the truth and just said, I gave it,
He
I
said
gave
he
it
didn't
to
know how
Mr.
he
DePaul.
got it, so I told
But
him.
he could have just
I
said,
told him that
I
I
gave it to
gave it to
Mr. DePaul, I didn't give it to Louis, I don't know how he got it.
Well, I'm telling you how he
You're
got
not his mouthpiece, I'm sure he can speak by
it.
himself.
Well, according to his resume here, I guess he can.
Okay, Mr. Nixon, would you like to say something?
Yes, I believe what Lou just stated, he did say in the other meeting. Lou said that the letter wasn't that formal, and he would like another letter stating like what his background was and yada, yada, yada. I remember you saying that.
We're not,
I also remember at the other meeting that we had a couple other ones in the office, like, I see this other new letter here today. Where are the other letters? We had other resumes before. Did they disappear? Or?
well, you're not letting me ever
All right,
finish, you're
I'm
just
sorry.
attacking.
Well, I just want to know. I'm not attacking. I just want to know.
You'll find out if you listen.
All right.
Sometimes if you listen more than you speak, you learn.
Oh,
So
yeah.
let's
That's what this
try
town
that.
needs, a lot more, huh? Whatever, go ahead. I'll listen.
So you're out of order.
Yeah, I'm not order. He has the floor, Kelly.
He's out of order.
He can say what he wants to.
You just don't say what you want
Yes,
to.
you can. It's the First Amendment
This is
right.
like a clown, this is
It
like
is.
a clown council
It
right
is.
here.
That- You're absolutely right.
And you
Why don't
are
you resign
resign.
right now? You don't have.
You
I'd
are
like
out of order.
to make a motion to call for a resignation.
You're out of order.
Yes, you all are.
Yeah, big man.
And you're whispering. See, you're not supposed to do that in a public meeting. You've been whispering all night. Come on.
Okay,
You
now
want to
moving
talk about the
on.
moral-
Excuse
and you're
me,
whispering.
you're out of order. We're trying to have a meeting here and you're doing what you normally do, is shout out from the back row.
Who's shouting?
Stop it. Enough.
A little harder with the gavel, Kelly.
Enough. Okay, now, let's see.
I will be quiet in the audience unless you give permission to speak.
That's
It's
exactly right.
different up here.
Exactly right. At one at a time, too.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah.
Okay. The chairman of the Democratic Committee took the applications we had and they met with the chair of the Easton Democratic Committee and the chair of the Northampton Democratic Committee, and they interviewed all of the applicants and they chose this applicant as the best suitable person to fill the seat. That is why we are requesting support for
Vernon Moore.
Vernon Moore.
Were you interviewed, Mr. Lewis?
No.
What is that?
Well, then how could everybody be interviewed if Mr. Lewis was?
I did not receive the letter.
He handed the letter in to the
I
mayor.
received the letter after everything had happened. Mr. Moore's letter is dated, when is it, August 1st.
It doesn't matter. The letter was handed in before the 30 days was up to the mayor. Now, is there something going on here? I mean, it doesn't
No,
sound
I
quite
think there's
right.
something going on with you.
Not me, I don't even know Mr. Lewis.
Well, but let me ask a couple questions of Mr. Lewis, okay? So I know, this is, I see what your qualifications are. An important thing that I've always asked every candidate is, I haven't written down here, by the way. When was the last time you voted?
I have never voted.
You voted. When, are you a registered voter?
Yes,
When did you register?
last month,
What date?
the date of the meeting.
The 11th. August the 11th, you registered.
So you,
I don't know the date, I know the day of the meeting, that's when I registered.
did you do this on your own, or did you have influences from elsewhere?
First of all, I couldn't run for council seat unless I was a registered voter.
And my last question is, because you directed this comment to me, which I don't yell and scream and things like that, like some of this crap that goes on here at the meetings. I've always tried to address it like a man, and we have too much of that crap in the world today. And we all try to emulate what's going on out around the country. down to our level, and it's just absolutely disgusting to me, but that's my MO. I carried it for the 49, 50 years I've been here. But this set me back because I didn't know yet. You never voted, now I know that. And you just registered when the letter came out. And you say to me, I want to clean up West Easton. That's a good thing, but I have 3 questions to that. What do you want to clean up?
Well, let's start with, oh, she left. Let's start with her backyard.
And that's a good one.
Next, let's get the paperwork out to whoever needs it in a timely manner.
That is a good question and a good answer. And I'll give you just a little histrionics on it. I'm not making excuses, but the time that we didn't get the minutes out, the 2 months that we didn't get the minutes out, the girl that we had hired all of a sudden gave us notice that she wasn't going to be here tonight. She was supposed to be here for the meeting. So that was 1 month. In the preceding months, we tried to get another person. Nobody's interested. Now, we can go out and get a real scribe and pay big dollars. And the next first thing we do to that, then we'll have a room full of people saying, why are we throwing our money away? Can't we get somebody in the town? Everybody makes blows things out of proportion. That last meeting was big. And I did what I did every meeting since I've been here as mayor, as president of council. I try to drive people to do what they're supposed to do when they're on this borough council. You've got a committee. My expectations of the committee is the lifeblood of the council. And I'm telling you this stuff because I don't know how it's going to come out, but I'm telling you this stuff. This year, I think we had, and you know, it's easy for everybody that sits at this table to throw stones. And Louis got a little upset last month, and I didn't get to where I was going to deliver what I had to say to him, and I'll finish it in a minute. It has to, we had at best, I tried to check back all the way back to the first of the year. 3 actual committee meetings. And I can be a member of any committee in council. Never got notification to any of them. Paul, he had his accounting situations he reported. We had no sewer authority reports. We had there's a multitude of things, and yet people can sit here and throw stones at the chair because she does the job the way the ordinances say, and people don't like that. Isn't that a shame? People don't like to be told what the borough forefathers developed. We didn't develop these ordinances. They've been here for, this borough is over 120 years, 118 years old. We didn't develop them. There's ordinances there that I look at them sometimes, I have to laugh because, you know, that's go with horse and wagons. And it's easy for the people to throw stones and get hysterical and raise their voices to the hill and not respect people's space. And maybe I'm on my bandwagon right now, but this is the way I am. This is the way I've conducted my life. And I left that meeting last month with a heavy heart because we've come to a stage in West Easton that we are a very, very dysfunctional council because the expectation is the president's going to do it all. She's going to sit in that office and bust her butt, and that's all there is to it. It's a shame. Yeah, it's my daughter, but I've been here longer than she's old, and I probably, how old are you?
56.
56? All right, you got me by a couple of years. I've been here 49 going on 50, sitting in this room. And I've held responsible positions from the beginning. I was elected by my peers as vice president when I was 26. I was 19 years president and 24 years mayor. And I treated people the way I wanted to be treated. And that's why people call me, because they can't get responses a lot of times from phone calls to councilmen. And Louis is the other guy that put his heart and soul in this public safety situation. He was instrumental in getting to a point of understanding of what we had to do and what we could afford and what we couldn't afford. And Louis did a hell of a job. I tried to say that last month, Louis, but but it got cut off. So I have to say this: if you want to be a councilman, this is what my expectation of a councilman is. Hey, you can tell me to go to hell, but as mayor, image is everything for me of the borough of West Easton. It's the biggest thing in my life. You can't pay enough money for image if you do the right things. And any new councilman that come in here, I've always tried to either tell them privately that wanted to talk about it, and I've done that many times. So I asked you those questions not to be a wise guy. I gotta know. I gotta know what I'm dealing with, because I got other guys here that I have to deal with too. And every one of these guys, including Ron, who's a new councilman, knows me from a long time. And he knows my reputation. And no matter what anybody says, 8:30, 7:30 in the morning on Saturday, I got a phone call about noise on 9th Street. Guess where I was at quarter 8 in the morning? At the man's house, talking to the contractor that was cutting down trees. He had no respect for the community. There's an ordinance. They shouldn't be starting until after 8 o'clock in the morning. And I told him that. He was very respectful of my comment. So this is the kind of things that I expect councilmen should be doing. And we're not getting it. That's where I was heading last week, and I wasn't trying to insult any councilman. All I'm trying to do is get them motivated to do their jobs. You know, it's easy to throw stones and bounce them off people. Maybe you don't like them. Maybe you had a problem with them. Listen, if you didn't have problems in life, it wouldn't be life. So, I appreciate your comments. Thank you.
So then the issue then is the seat still open?
This is still, the council would have to vote on it.
I thought you said it went to the judge.
Well, this is, it's open now, isn't it?
Yeah, well, as the Democratic chairman for West Easton, well, let me explain myself a little. I had two applicants, Robert Lewis and Vernon Moore. And to get down to a point, I contacted Northampton County Democratic chairman and the Easton, and I says, I want to go through this here. And I presented them, I gave them both their names. Robert, the 11th in the morning, we were down to sign the voter registration. That's what they have it tagged at, a couple hours before the meeting. All right. Vernon is on the super voters list. He votes, and that's where I'm going to make my decision at, because we are Democrats and we have to get people out to vote. But it just seems a little odd to me that the morning of the meeting, somebody comes down and they go down to voter registration and sign up. And I asked for some help from them, and they said the main dependent is my thing. They didn't give me an opinion on it, and which they did, but the last word was mine, and that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a super voter and somebody that came down and just registered that morning before we had the meeting.
I don't understand one thing, Tommy. Kelly said she didn't know that he put in for it before she talked to somebody, and you're saying you talked to somebody about both candidates.
I did talk to
And
him.
she only talked to one person.
Hey,
I didn't talk to any of them. I was
I've
at
had
the
a
meeting.
meeting with him,
I was ill, I wasn't available.
all right?
Well, since it went past the
Well,
third,
let's go down now. This is a good time to bring this out in the open. Robert, right after the meeting, I said, stay here. Wave my hand, stay here. Dan's out there on the sidewalk. Nick, Ron, you're out on the sidewalk. And Robert, you're out on the sidewalk.
that's not true. Louis was
No,
on the sidewalk.
listen, I'm just explaining.
Wait,
Now, let me finish my side of the story. All right? Then I see Louis out there. Everybody's patting him on the back like they made a touchdown. Then I questioned Louis about it. Dan, if you got something against Kelly, the mayor, or me, say it to our face. Don't say it out on the street, on the sidewalk there.
I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything about
I'm
you.
talking, right?
Okay, go ahead, talk. I'll
Right,
wait. I'll
I'm
wait.
talking.
I'll wait.
All right? Out there patting him on the back. I got the lowdown. The man's 86 years old. All right? If you want to do the dirty work, say it yourself in front of me here and be done with it. Don't do it behind using Louis to get at me, Kelly, or the mayor.
You finished?
And, well, let's go from there then.
I didn't say anything about you, and I didn't say anything about Kelly. We were all walking out,
No.
Louis and Ron. He came in and was talking to you at the council meeting.
Right. And we don't want it. He walked down with you. And you
He
all
didn't
said,
walk
I
out with me.
made
I
him
walked
take.
out by myself.
No, we saw it on the video.
I got it on
We have
video.
it
Don't
on
play
tape.
it then.
It's on tape. Actually,
So what, there's a tape?
I asked him who he was. I don't even know Mr. Lewis.
I knew from years back, I went to school with his brother, but that's the first time I seen him in probably 10, 11 years.
Well, that's not here.
that's neither
You
here
come
nor
down
Well,
there.
I'm just saying whatever she's saying, I don't,
No, I,
A guy puts in for council, you don't know the guy, and all of a sudden it's a story?
Well, no, hey, you're doing it. And
I'm
I'm
doing
not done with you yet. I'm far from done with you. I'm far from done with you,
Yeah, well, I
Dan.
want to correct the mayor on one thing. I get calls too, Jerry. I get
Hey.
calls too. And on that
Hey.
Saturday, I wasn't home. If you're talking about this past
I
Saturday.
wasn't, did I?
No, you said
I went
council
on
people don't
myself.
get calls, they call you.
It's
They call
not, they
me.
don't always get
Yeah.
as many
I got 4
calls
calls
as
from
you
Fleet
got.
Street that I will bring up.
Dan.
Bring him up, Dan, because I got something here.
Go
I'll
ahead.
tell you what. You are going to pay your sword bill. Believe me.
You don't know what you're talking about, Tommy.
Don't know what I'm talking
No, you
about.
Hey,
What is that
one
barn
time,
house speaking your house over there?
No.
Let him shut off.
Hey, stop yelling.
No.
There it is. What were you talking about?
You don't know the call because
Oh.
Talk.
What happened
Hey,
before?
hold it. Stop yelling and talk to one another.
I'm
This
gonna
is
talk to you.
ridiculous.
I'm
You
gonna-
need to chill out. You need to chill out.
I'm gonna talk to Tommy.
Go ahead.
Does this have anything to do with the meeting?
Yeah, it does.
Did you discuss it after the meeting?
No, this has something to do with the meeting. There's a lawsuit involved, Tommy. I came down here and asked for a copy of some minutes and the sewer ordinance. Never got it, and it's dated in July. Number 2, Tommy,
Go ahead.
the water company shut off the wrong house. So watch it, buddy.
What do you mean they shut
They shut
down?
off the wrong house. I'm not living at 302 right now. They shut off 302. I'm living at 304, buddy. They
Yeah.
shut off 302.
Yeah?
Well, I'm telling you. See, you don't know what you're talking about.
Well,
I know he is. But he's so thick-headed, he thinks he
Yeah.
knows everything, but he
I
doesn't.
don't know
The
anything.
water company shut off the wrong house.
pay your sword bill.
Can we,
How can you represent the borough?
Because I asked for the ordinance. I'm living at 304 this summer, and they shut off the water at 302.
Hey, I want to tell you something right now. We passed the thing that the property
You don't know
owner
what
is
you're talking
responsible. You don't know what you're talking
They
about.
shut the water off at the wrong house.
Hey, you're lucky you got elected if it wasn't for me. You wouldn't have got
You're
elected.
the one that changed from Republican to
Look it,
Democrat.
I am going to go
Yeah.
back to the agenda
ago was that, Dan? Over
Well, you
30.
still did it.
We'll get back to
Yeah.
that new business, so please have a seat, you don't need to stand there anymore.
So don't tell me, Dan.
And I'm telling you, they shut the water off at the wrong house.
Yeah, you just don't want to pay your bills.
No, because I asked for a fair bill. I said, if you live in an address,
I don't know what
and you're the owner of that address, what's the rate?
Yeah, yeah.
I was never given the ordinance.
Well, then everybody that owns an apartment shouldn't have to pay the water bill if their tenant sticks it.
I don't know, there's two guys can start arguing, they disregard your position at the
They're
pulpit.
disrespecting you, so we'll get back to
Yeah, I'll be back to
that.
you.
I've been disrespected more times than
We'll
this.
get back to you at new business, okay? So that was the whole point anyway, we would have got to you at new business again, so if you.
But I'm still up.
He's still
Well, you're
got
the
the
one
floor.
who's now
Well,
screaming
he brought it
about
up, I
keep
did.
your mouth shut down
He
there.
brought it up, I did. I got the floor
Stop
now.
it, no, you don't, I'm
No,
sorry.
I don't have the floor, you're right.
He has the floor.
Mr. Lewis has been
Listen.
standing there patiently at the podium, waiting while you two crazy people are screaming at one
Well, I'm
another.
not screaming, I'm just trying to straighten it out.
Come to the meeting, because I don't come to meetings, and it.
No, this is the best meeting we've had so far. This is great.
Oh, my God.
It's embarrassing.
It is.
It is embarrassing when you're accused of something, the mayor, you're accused of something, and you don't realize that I asked for minutes, and I asked for the ordinance on the sewer. You know what?
Yeah.
Never got it.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
We need a borough manager.
We didn't get to it.
We need a borough manager, like you suggested,
Hey, I don't understand why you're getting nuts.
because I'm accused of something he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Guilty, that's why.
Wait. This should be taken out there in the lot the way it sounds, instead of here in the council chamber embarrassing the good people that
I'm
want to
not
come here.
embarrassing anybody, he brought it up, I didn't.
Hey, you're
Well,
at a high level
yeah,
of decibels.
Pay your bills.
I pay my bill when I find out what the real bill is.
Oh, brother.
Dan,
I've been asking for it.
Dan, you've been on council.
Here's the letter I gave to you, Kelly. What does it say?
Dan, you
Give me.
gave that letter to me, you shoved Molly with the door and slammed her into a couch.
There, done.
And you
Please.
threatened me before the August meeting and said, wait till you see what happens to you at the next meeting.
I did not say that. You got the tape playing.
No,
Play
I
it.
don't have a tape of what
Oh,
happened
then
to
play.
Molly.
Oh, you don't
But I
have.
have
You don't have a
Molly
tape on
as-
that, but you got a tape on outside.
I have Molly as a
Oh,
witness.
yes. Get out.
I saw what you did to her.
We need a borough manager. And who's the treasurer? Where's the treasurer's reports? Where's the treasurer's
Are
reports?
we getting into the meeting? Into this meeting?
I'm gonna break this tonight, I think. I'm glad you're filming. You can see what really goes on down here.
Mr. Lewis,
Yes.
please. Please, you have public comment. You're up. It's your free.
Oh, well, I was being,
No,
I was
let's
being
go.
interviewed.
Let's go. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Tom was there.
Yeah, well, like I said, you lived there for 19 years, right?
Yes, he was on me and he went on to Paul, so,
So you lived there for 19 years,
yes.
and just some freak of whatever, the 11th you went down and signed up for to be a Democrat.
We know that, yeah.
Good morning before the meeting.
That's correct.
Nobody talked to you?
Yes, I was informed that I needed to have a voter registration.
Somebody on this council?
Yes,
All right. Who?
Paul,
Andy Paul.
Dan, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't know him, but you stopped.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I got.
This is getting better and better.
I said I don't know. I don't know.
Lord. But no, that's what I'm saying. You know,
I'm just curious, since you haven't voted and you don't attend council meetings, and this is the first time I've ever seen you, how do you really know what the issues are?
Actually, you saw
Because
me before,
a lot of people
just to get it straight.
get on council, I may have, but I guess you didn't make an impression on me that I remember you because I don't even recognize you. Maybe it was years ago, your hair might have been darker, I don't know, but I don't remember, so I'm sorry about that. But you haven't attended council meetings, And I'm not saying you can't do a good job, but you have to understand my thinking. You don't vote, you don't attend council meetings. How do you know what the real issues are? I mean, there's a lot of people, don't get me wrong, that get elected to council and come in here like gangbusters. They are going to change the world. And it just doesn't happen that way. There's like policies in place, there's ordinances in place, and they have to be followed. You can't ignore. I mean, someone comes down and asks for help, you would love to fix their problem if you could. But you have to be consistent. You can't do favors for this one because he's my neighbor, or that one because I go to lunch with, or that one because he's my work buddy. It has to be consistent and fair for everyone, including if you're a council person. For example, I'll just use this as an example because the big blow up happened. Dan was on council when they drafted the zoning ordinance. He may not have been on council when they picked the recent resolution to change the fees. However, he's aware that when you don't pay your sewer bill after 3 quarters, your water gets shut off. He's aware that when you don't pay in time, there's a late fee. $10 on trash, $10 on sewer. And he's also aware that when you don't pay your sewer bill, you still have to pay for garbage, and that keeps getting added to your account. Your water gets shut off, and you may not have to pay any more to your sewer bill. However, you still have to pay for your trash that's collected every Thursday. So that adds to Mr. DePaul's bill every quarter. So, yes, and that goes for anybody. You could be a landlord and you don't have any tenants. You still have to pay for sewer and garbage. Garbage always, sewer if you get your water turned off. And that has been that way for as long as I've been on council. The only thing that's ever really been adjusted is the rates.
I think the other thing that was adjusted was the water shut off at the beginning, and it was on winter, they couldn't shut it off, and now they can shut it off anytime.
Well, they had to have an agreement with the water authority, but
Water
that was
authority
early
changed
on in my terms of being on council. And I was on council before Mr. DePaul, so this was already in place when he was here. So, you know, would you like to give people a break? They can't make it, they lost their job. That wouldn't be fair to other people that pay. And the borough wouldn't be able to pay their bills. Just for example, we get a quarterly bill from the sewer authority for like $24,000. If we don't have paper paying the sewer bill, how are we going to pay our bill? There have been times where people couldn't pay their bill, like 22 people. We couldn't make the bill. We had to borrow money from the general fund, put it into the sewer account in order to pay the bill. And whenever you borrow money from one account to another, before the end of the year, you have to pay it back with interest. So everything, if it works and people are following the rules, it would work like a well-oiled machine. But you can't have the petty arguments and the things that go on up here, and the infighting with each other, putting up roadblocks, trying to stop progress. How is that helping the residents? We all live here. We're all familiar with a particular way of life. We have good relationships with our service providers. If someone misses trash and they're out of town, I make sure it's picked up the next day. I tell them, leave it out. We'll be back. If they're in town, somebody drives by with a pickup truck and gets it. But those relationships just don't happen. You need to nurture them. And the only way you know that is if you have an idea of what's going on. So you can't come in and just blow up and make, someone told you to say something or you've been pre-programmed to say something, because they don't like that you're successful. But you know what? I am not who I am because my dad's the mayor.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I am who I am because I attend conferences. I find out who's who.
And you almost went to
And
jail,
I
Kelly.
Trisha,
You almost went to jail.
Enough, you don't have the floor.
Let's not forget that.
You don't have the
I
floor.
know.
Thank Mr. Morganelli for that favor, you felon.
Yeah, okay.
You
Thank
should
you.
talk.
Okay. Now, also, we encourage people to be involved. We encourage resident participation. We encourage input from residents. We encourage it. We understand that some people are critical. We understand that not everybody understands. We understand that not everybody wants to hear what they want to hear. But we're trying to be money wise, because we have the same responsibilities as the bigger municipalities. We don't have a big marketplace here. You know, we have Doves, we have the Polish American Club who's opened on weekends. The hair salon moved out.
Yours.
Oh, mailers, we can't forget that. He's a gem. But you have to have an idea of what's going on to make a change. You understand?
Sure.
And there's always two sides of the story too. I came down here in February to pay my sewer and refuge bill. I was assured that it would be changed to senior citizen rate. And I said I was taking over the property and I was going to live there and stay there for the summer. So I gave the bill as a senior citizen rate, and the check, I gave the check at the senior citizen rate, and it was sent back to me saying they don't take partial payments. They wouldn't accept, they would not accept my... No, I got the floor now. I let you talk and didn't say anything, Kelly. Now it's my turn. I just want to clear it up. So now this has been going on because they don't want to give me the ordinance. I didn't want to come down here and take the ordinance. I'd rather have the ordinance given to me. I'm living over at 304. I own 304 and 302. I'm not renting it out. It's not a rental property right now. So I'm living there. It's classified, as far as I'm concerned, as senior citizen rate. They didn't want to take my payment as a senior citizen rate. So when they didn't take my check, they don't take partial payments. I've gotten mails that said that. I wasn't in 30. I wasn't living in 302. I'm living at 304. And the water company comes by and shuts the water off at 302. So I go to the water company, and they said, this is the information that the Borough of West Easton gave us. They shut the water off at the wrong house. So the reason why the bill wasn't paid is because I'm allowed to pay senior citizen rate. It's not a rental. It's only a rental if you rent it out. It's not a rental.
Let me direct the question to
And the other thing is, I'm not finished. I didn't give the floor back. Did I ever meet you before this meeting of August 11th? I never met you before in my life. Did I or not?
No.
Someone called me up and said there's a person interested in being on council. His name is Lewis. This is his phone number. So I called him up. I asked him, are you really interested in being on council? Because we have a vacancy. And I said, are you a registered Democrat or Republican? And he said he wasn't. And I said, well, you can't be on council. You have to register. That's the end of the conversation. If he went and registered or not registered, that was up to him.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. If you're a landlord,
Not a landlord.
let's try this again. If you're a landlord and you own a property where you may have or may not have a tenant, and when he did have a tenant, as my father is a landlord, I would ask him if he were here. You can't have it both ways. You can't have a senior citizen at your home and then think you're going to pull a fast one by saying, I'm living in the apartment now and I'm going to run a hose there and I'm still living there. It's a huge inconvenience. My water's still on at my house, but I'm living here and I want senior citizen rate.
The water is on at 304. They never turned the water off at 304.
That's what I just said.
This is not a rental property.
That's what I just said.
It's only a rental when you rent it out.
No, Dan, you can't have it both ways.
No, I'm not having it both ways. I own two properties. I can own a property in Florida, I can own a property here. That doesn't mean it's a rental. It's a rental when you rent it out.
Christine, would you like to give a legal interpretation for the next meeting, please?
Yeah, if you can provide me with documentation, I
we
will
can
gladly,
provide-
both from your end, I'll take a look
No,
at it.
I'll make a copy of the bills.
Whatever you
and
have in the
ordinance.
file.
How come I've been asking for the ordinance and haven't gotten it yet? Because they don't want to admit that it's not a rental when you're not renting it out.
I'm not aware of
You
any
can
of
have
that,
it.
but
We had a problem with you in the office.
We didn't have a problem. I sat in the office with you and you said you were going to change it
No.
to senior citizen
You
rate.
did not ever sit in. The only time you sat in the office is just recently when you came back from England and showed me pictures of your girlfriend that you met online, and you were at some auction for Elvis stuff, and you sat there and you showed me all these pictures. Then you get with Mezzacappa and you turn into a crazy person. That's all I know.
I'm trying to answer the question.
One month you're well behaved, the next month not so much.
Who's it?
if you provide me with the documentation, I'll.
Mayor, if you own property in the borough more than your house.
Yeah.
Now, if you moved from your house to one of your rental properties, would you demand senior citizen rate on your rental property and your home? You can't have it both ways, can you?
I don't get senior citizen rate on the rental property.
That's because you rent them out.
But if
I'm
you
not renting it out.
decide you're gonna go live in the rental property,
No, wait, I paid, when it was empty, I paid the regular rate.
That's right. But you weren't living there, were you?
No, I'm not.
Well, I
No,
was because
the point
it's
he
easier
got
to cool that house in the
senior
summer.
citizen rate on his house.
My house.
Then, no, you're not listening. Dan DePaul got senior citizen rate on his house because he had a tenant
Yeah, you
living
can't
there.
transfer just because you move, unless you document the fact that you move. I mean,
Then your house will get to be the regular rate. You pick and choose which one you want.
yeah, that's.
can't
If
have it both
I live
ways.
at 304,
You're not living at both of them.
they're right next to each other. What do you mean I'm
It
not?
doesn't matter if they're next to each other. His are across the street from one another. So if he moves across the street, it doesn't mean that he gets senior citizen rate in an apartment now
If I'm
because he doesn't live at his house. So then his house will get the regular rate.
If
You
I'm-
can't have it both
If
ways.
I'm
I'm
staying
sorry,
at
Mayor. It just
304, what does that mean? I'm
work.
running out 302?
Well, it doesn't matter if
Doesn't
you're
matter, you
renting
still
or
have to
not.
pay
It's-
it. That's
You
why
have
you were
to-
here when we made the ordinance.
What
You
is your,
approved the
what is
ordinance.
your homestead? That's all I want to know.
I can take a look at the
All my
ordinance.
life that I've known you and Sandy, you lived in that house. Now all of a sudden you moved across
That's
the alley.
because it's my
Another
other
house.
house. It's another house. It's on the same property.
Yeah,
He's
but
trying to get senior citizen rate at both
Now-
addresses.
now, I don't want to get into this thing because we're losing our
And he's a
customers.
council.
I was trying to do the borough a favor. I mean, I could have shut everything off at one house
You
and paid
still have to
nothing.
pay for
It paid
trash.
nothing.
No, you still have to pay for trash at that residence, no matter if the water's shut off or not. You still owe for trash every
I have
quarter.
no problem with that.
Can we move on?
We're trying.
We just wasted a half an hour and lost the person.
Where's this other person that wants,
That
where's
was-
this other person that wants a council seat?
That was Paul James.
I'll tell you
right.
where
He
he's
didn't
at.
know.
His sister's in hospice. All right, and he was gonna try to make it here. His sister's dying. And I said, well, you belong with your family first.
Right. They
All
made,
right.
they made an issue that Mr.
And
Lewis,
I'm making my decision right now.
Mr. Lewis did attend council meetings, did Mr. Moore attend council meetings in the last couple of years?
He's a voter and he votes and he's concerned about issues obviously because he votes.
I think the issue is that in order to be a council person, you have to be a registered voter.
That's fine, but everybody can have their own opinion. You can
And,
have yours,
and wait a
you can have
minute,
yours.
you asked questions of Mr. Lewis, but you didn't finish. Mr. Lewis, what's your education?
I have 2 bachelor's degrees. One in accounting, one in business.
Everybody has the letter in front of them. Actually, they have both. I made sure I made a copy of both back to back so that you didn't lose anything. They're both in front of you.
What college?
Flip it over and the other letter that he supplied to Louis the first
Well,
night
it's better all the
is
time.
on one side and the other one's on the other side.
All right, so we have a super voter and we have a guy that went to DeSales
Well,
University.
it's better all the time.
Okay, let's get back to the
Yeah.
agenda.
What about your-
Because that was public comment. I have no more questions for Mr. Lewis. Does anyone is pretty self-explanatory in their letters of interest, which everybody has a copy of. Mayor's report.
Aren't you asked for any more public comments?
Did you have something?
This is the second time you tried to
I
get
think
rid of
so, he never knows.
me. Anyway,
Go ahead.
when
We
is that
know we
seat,
do.
when is
One's
that
a
seat
reporter
gonna
and the other one always hangs out, so I know about that.
Oh, I got one.
I thought you were like the videotaper.
If he's not up.
Okay, go ahead. You only have 3 minutes, so it's been up like a
Well,
half
not his
hour.
fault.
Go ahead. No.
I've been
you
talking for
and
30
Lynn
seconds.
were talking.
Yeah, well, I said, it's not his fault. We had a conversation, the rest of you had a mud fight. Jesus Christmas.
Sorry.
What's your question?
Sleep.
When is the seat gonna get filled?
Tonight. I told you we would address you again at new business, but you insisted to be back at the podium. Because it is new business. We'll be appointing someone new to the board. I'm sorry you have to wait. Mr. Dees.
Matthew Dees, 407 2nd Street. I just want to say I like a little dissension. It's great, and when you're not involved, it's even better. But I think much of this that went on tonight was a little personal tension that shouldn't have been brought up here. That's that comment. Actually, against my vote, I was put as chairman of the zoning board. Nobody else wanted it. I basically got forced into it. And this involves the zoning ordinances. I'm told that the book, and I want to verify some of this tonight, I'm told our zoning ordinances actually originated from Palmer. We've got a Palmer book. And
It's West Easton been modified.
1951 is ours.
it's been modified pretty poorly.
Well, it was professionally done, by the way.
25-foot setbacks on our property sizes. That's one
That's one we fought a hell of a battle on, too. I didn't want it.
Well, the reason I'm asking, I think things need to be changed. You've got people paying $1,000 to get variances that,
It's an escrow. They get money back.
that's fine, but why should they have to put it up when we could just change an ordinance and make it a lot
Because-
simpler for them?
Because just advertising is like $3.49, depending on the length of the article.
If they come in front of the board for a variance,
Correct.
well, why don't we just change some of the ordinances to fit the times, for one thing? You got, on our small lots, I believe another one says that you can't cover 25% of the property. So basically, you put up a shed in your property, you can't put up nothing else, so you have to come in front of the board for a variance. I mean, most small properties, some communities have up to 40% coverage, just so people don't have to get a variance on a shed.
Who's the solicitor for the zoning hearing board? Is it Jeremy Clark? It's
Yes.
Jeremy Clark, right? If the council is inclined, I'd be happy to, I can discuss with him, or if you want to raise some of the, or I can talk to you directly, and bring this back before council about some of the issues or concerns. It's up to council if they think that it's appropriate to look into this issue. I would be happy to talk to Jeremy and yourself, since you're now the chairman, I take it by default, I suppose.
Yeah, by default.
I would be happy to speak with you if you have recommendations, or if you want to get it together with the other members of the zoning board and bring it to council, we can look at it. I would be happy to assist in that, and I know
I
Attorney
think
Clark
it
pretty
would be
well.
better if you dealt with your solicitor, and your solicitor dealt with our solicitor, and then brought it to council.
Of any
That would make
proposed,
sense.
of any recommendations that you may have, because you've been encountering this, I take it.
Because
And
Well, I feel bad for people that, I know when they come before me, like, one was a garage, and it was over the garage was pretty much a given, nice garage, we knew we were gonna do it, but he was only there because it took up a certain percentage of his property.
If I remember correctly, it was a site triangle, and he had to send it back. He wanted to have it right on the street, and you couldn't see when you came out of the street.
Well, there was two garages. But that's beside the point. I'm talking about just certain ordinances I think we can
So are
change.
you okay with that, dealing with Jeremy? Because Jeremy's more familiar with the zoning ordinances and the zoning
Or the
law.
issues you've encountered.
So yeah, if I had a zoning book, I'm the chairman of the board, and I don't have a book. I haven't seen a book.
I've had
Wait,
it.
I can give you mine. I'll give you
I've
my
had to
book.
look for you.
And I have also kept
It's
up
not
records on
available.
all of the past zoning boards, so if you give me your email address after we're done, I'll meet up with you and I'll get it too. Is that the only issue you have is the setback? Or
Well, no, I mean,
25%?
I'd like to see what other issues in there. I have no idea what's in that book.
Because I mean, you know, also, by the same token, if my neighbor wants to build 40% of their yard, I might have an issue because it's going to occupy.
That was just a number.
I know, but I know what you're saying. I know the same things. But or the setbacks. I mean, there might be some issues that we might have where you could put too much stuff on your yard, or you may already have it occupied. So.
Once I don't know the best way to do it, but obviously if you sat on the zoning hearing board for a number of years and perhaps you have some feedback, or anybody else that has feedback for that matter, I would be happy to, involve you and, share.
Sure.
And I'd like to
bring
do
it
that.
back before the council.
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
We can try and,
right.
if there's changes that need to be made, we'll do this in a more economic fashion if we modify a whole bunch of them at the same time.
I think that'd be great.
I think so too.
Because I think we were
Right, I know we were, so I mean, and then again, I'm not opposed to meeting you offline on Saturday or something like that.
That'd be great.
We can discuss this a little bit more, but I'll give you my book, and all my notes and everything.
Fantastic.
And that may help you out a little bit too, so no, that's no problem. I'd like to be proactive and help you out.
Well, that's good, I appreciate being proactive. The book, there was a war here, because when I came on council, they gave every councilman a zoning book. I think it was 24 pages. It was specific to Borough West Easton size lots. Setbacks, everything. We had 2 councilmen. They went out, and they went out to Palmer Township. That, I thought we were talking about the original one. They went to Palmer Township. It's not even a comparison. Even Old Palmer Heights was a comparison. And it's been nothing but a headache over the years. But the council paid a lot of money to have a company put it all together and bring it to council, and the council passed it. We didn't need it. That old book, I'll show you that sometime. I still got a copy of it.
Maybe we should pull that out and kind of read.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's excellent. It's excellent. And it's specific to a town our size. And the forefathers did a hell of a job on that one. It was 1951. It was when they ordained it.
We'll make a copy of it, and we can give you a copy.
That'd be fantastic.
Now you're gonna make me go back in my personal class. And I would not.
Be available.
A question for the council. The state police that are now covering us don't enforce our ordinances. So who will? A barking dog at 1 o'clock in the morning, somebody cutting down trees. People are getting wise to the fact, as my neighbor with the dog is getting wise to the fact, that no one is going to bother him for barking dog, or he's not going to get issued a summons. And I think people are getting smart to that. That cops aren't going to enforce parking ordinances for abandoned vehicles and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and that's, my conversation is, when they get their report, they will get there. But it's not gonna be like media, okay?
So they will respond,
Oh,
but it's
yeah,
going to be
absolutely.
eventually.
Absolutely. That's what they told me. That's what the sergeant told me up there. The guys in charge of our district. So, keep plugging at it and get a hold of them and tell them, this is a continuous problem, and they'll respond. But, they have certain numbers, and they got a pecking order, which is more important to get to first. And I talked to Williamstown supervisor, and he told me the same thing. He says out there, they'll get there. That was one of my first questions when we looked at it. I went to him, because they had him for so many years. So, yeah, it's not like I'm gonna, pick up the phone and they come down in Addison Street, sit down and park down there, they're in town.
Maybe will contact us, and we may be able to get some type of result too. I had a problem with parking, and I talked to the person, committee member, and it was able to get some results. So we may be able to resolve some of these issues diplomatically, for lack of a better term. So we might be able to do that too. If you wanted to address, any of us, we'll be happy to help you.
We got, in that vein, we got a very good response to cars have all of a sudden run to stop streets. They came down, had 2 cars down here 2 weeks in a row. They nailed quite a few people.
I sent them an email, so if I don't know, I can't address it.
Well, I mean, I didn't think, like, those kind of problems should, that you'd want to know about it. I figured pick up the phone, call.
If it's annoying.
Yeah, but it's something that we
It's
were
your
so
quality of
programmed
life.
for.
You know what I mean? It's your quality of life. Some of them we can deal with good enforcement. Some of them, if they're against the ordinances, we have an agreement with, Easton Auto Body, especially, parked on snow emergencies and, cars are towed at owner's expense. So there's different things that have been put in place since they took over to try to address some of the issues that they were going to address. But they have been fairly cooperative when we tell them we do have a problem with this. There's different ones that we contacted the EPA, DEP, different things that have happened with different situations like tractor trailers idling in a residential area. There's laws on that now, and you just can't work it up and,
Well, suggestion, you may want to put that in your next newsletter that goes out, because there's a lot of people in this town that don't know who to call. I mean, if you guys are willing to accept phone calls on stuff like that, I'm sure they'd be happy to know that.
well,
I
stay
suggested all
tuned. I
councilmen
have
have their
something
cars.
that you're gonna love.
I suggested a long time ago, and it's more pertinent today than any time, that all councilmen should have cards with their phone number, personal home phone number, cell phone number, email address, and if you don't want to give it out, then it's not your job, and you don't want to do it. And anybody's bothered by a resident calling for some help, there's something wrong, so.
Anybody want to make a motion?
We already have cards, and I get calls all the time, so I don't know about anybody else.
I want all your cards. Last thing, then I'll get out of here. The 2 police vehicles. It's my understanding that one is going to be used for the road department.
Correct.
What are we doing with the other one?
Backup.
A backup.
I got a price on them, they were I had to buy them both. I couldn't just buy one. All right, it's not going to waste. It was bought, a reasonable amount.
Well, we got a little borough. What do we need a backup for? Just sell it.
What's that?
The second vehicle.
Yeah, but, like the winter, I'm going to be buying a new dump truck tonight. And it's just like that Jeep. The Jeep, we get 5 years, we have another one. I might put a plow on that one before it's all done too.
That's not like putting
It's
stone or
nothing.
anything yet.
My suggestion was to trade them in on
But
the new
there's
truck.
like the opportunity for,
Yeah.
so,
I like your
some
suggestion.
negotiation.
That's the right way to go. Get some money out of them, trade them in, they'll give you an over allowance, and there'll be no more conversation about it. We buy a new truck, which we have to do, and that's the way to go. Just trade the damn things in, and let the dealer take care of them.
Well, that's all I have. Thank you all. Mr. Deegan, thanks you for giving me so much to write about.
Thanks for coming.
On that zoning book, that was brought up 10, 12, 13 years ago.
We install, what's your address?
306 Second Street.
All right, 306 Second Street.
They were
Thank
supposed
you,
to go over
sir.
that zoning book way back then, when it was brought up. I'm talking 10, 12, maybe 15 years ago, and it was never brought up. I mean, never updated, and I just got tired. Now I'm thinking about, getting off the zoning board, because I talked to him about, you look at the book, and we come here, people, apply for a zoning permit. Here for a while, you were gonna charge to replace the sidewalk. I don't know if you do it now or not. But when we had a manager, he could go anywhere in this borough. By the time he got up to his rear end, and went the furthest point, either way, 5 minutes, 10 minutes tops. Go up, measure the depth of the sidewalk, it's 5 inches of concrete in this borough. And
Not anymore.
where did you change it?
Yes,
Before?
they did. The code company changed it. 4 inches of stone and 4 inches of concrete.
It was 5. Well, anyhow, he can measure that. Why do you need a permit? I mean, somebody that approved their sidewalk, and there for a while, they were talking $65. I'm gonna say, I wanna replace one slab.
I think you're allowed to replace one slab.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one, if you go and put up 30 feet, I think we allow 10 or 15 feet that you're allowed to replace that slab without coming down and, but if you're gonna replace your whole sidewalk curb, then you gotta come down to get a fair permit. Yeah, our zoning board gotta be changed a little, you know, it doesn't fit the criteria of the borough. But I blame that on, what's his name, Colino and them. I was after that for a long time, and they didn't do it. Face it, some yards are only 20 feet wide in West Easton.
Sure.
Yeah,
I mean, when we come down here,
right,
he's a newcomer, I've been here for
yeah.
quite a few years. You know, it just gets, you know, discouraging. You look at a book, and nothing to do with the borough.
Well, that's it, I think like
I mean, if
I
I
said,
want to put addition on my house, alongside,
yeah,
to coincide with the rest of the property there, I have to spend $1,000 to come down here, and 99.9, the zoning board's gonna say grant. Now, it costs me $1,000 that, you know, it's logical to do
It's an
that.
escrow. You do get money
Yeah, but-
back.
Yeah, but
But
that's
it
not the
pays,
point.
it pays for
The
your
point of it
I
is,
understand, you
if it
don't wanna
wasn't
have
in
to
there-
have a zoning hearing. That's, I get your point, I get it. I wasn't involved in creating this book, but I get it, and I'm open to you and Mr. D's meeting with your solicitor, and your solicitor working with our solicitor, and presenting it to council. I get it, okay? But you guys have to do your work with your solicitor, and then when you present it to us, we'll do our work to try to cooperate with your wishes. But we just can't sit here, keep repeating, because really nothing's gonna get accomplished this way. You understand that? Are you okay? Are you okay? I mean, I'm okay with changing things. I know that.
You don't have to yell at me about it, I understand.
I'm not, I'm just being clear. It's not yelling. You have no idea what it's like when it's yelling.
Yeah, you heard that earlier.
You're pretty loud too. The mayor's report. You said a lot tonight. You have anything else for us?
Yes, to rectify an oversight which was made loud and clear in the news report. I just want to bring it to council. My expectations was that Charlie's daughter would be here tonight, and I'd be able to tell her how I felt. And Charlie and I go back a long time. A lot of phone calls. And believe me, there was no hate in my heart for Charlie. He called me on, I told him one time, anytime you got a problem down in Lehigh Drive, you call me. He's called for public safety issues, ice on the roads. The river's up to the bottom of the bridge. The road's closed on the west side of Lehigh Drive because the river's there. Oh, they're speeding down here. There should be stop signs right at the bridge. And that problem was rectified by the state with encouragement by a council person here. He was a valued resource to this council, to me, and to Louis on the Public Safety Committee. the furthest thing from the truth, there is no hate in my heart or Louis' heart or anybody else's heart. But, that we may have hated him because we didn't do what I probably should have done. I understand the feeling of the daughter and the oversight by me. I apologize. And it's something that if people don't know Jerry Gross, all you have to do is walk out the front door and you'll see a monument out there. And the monument has a tree. You walk out to the corner out here and you see a monument out there and a tree. Up in the park, there's a tree and a monument. Well, the monument was, I got a phone call on that too. The monument was stolen. And it was laying on my front porch with a note on it. They found it in the 9th Street garbage. That was for Charlie McGusty. So, I'll take the blame for any oversight in this because I was always the first person to make sure that I memorialized people that did something for the borough. And tonight, the simplest thing I can do is read this proclamation. Charles W. Stout, Jr. Day. In the borough of West Easton. Whereas Charles R.W. Stout, Jr. was a longtime resident of the borough of West Easton, affectionately known by me, the mayor of Lehigh Drive, and whereas he was a valuable member of the borough council, having been elected to a 4-year term, elected, let me get that straight because he was elected for a term in November 2011. Whereas he served the borough well as a member of the zoning hearing board, that's a natural progression for any person who wants to be on council. Whereas he died unexpectedly at his home March 19, 2014. Whereas the borough government wishes to acknowledge the many contributions Charlie made to the betterment of this community. Whereas as mayor, I wish to express my personal appreciation to him for his public service on behalf of the residents of the borough. Now therefore, I, Gerald Gross, do hereby proclaim the 9th day of September 2014 as Charles W. Stout Jr. Day. In the borough of West Easton, I urge all residents to take a moment to fondly remember Charlie. And in witness herein, I set my hand to the seal of the borough of West Easton. Proclamation, 9th day, September 2014. That's my feelings, and that's how I felt about Charlie. And he was a good resident. He cared about the town, and he always cared about the town as long as I knew him and as long as I was in office here. He always had a moment. And he got on council because he came into the borough and he was interested in talking to Kelly about it. Nobody recruited him. He came here because he was interested. And he filled a spot at that time for a vacancy, I believe. And then he was elected again for a 4-year term. So Charlie, wherever you are, let's take a moment of silence. Please stand up. Thank you.
Very nice thought, Mayor.
Thank you.
Is that all for your report?
Yes.
Solicitor's report. I just have one personnel matter related to the discipline of a current public officer for executive session.
I can say, I'll make a motion to go in executive session.
We'll do it at the end of the meeting.
Supposed to wait till the end.
We can wait to the end.
On the agenda, yeah. That's all I have.
Okay, any
We
committee?
need to say it for the,
No, that's all I had.
We're gonna wait till the end.
okay.
Any committee reports?
Yeah, my finance committee, we met a couple of times since the last meeting, and my finance committee is actively pursuing the monies that we had set aside for our state police, and we would like to reappropriate those funds. I'm sorry to say at this time that I'm not ready to present our modified budget. Now, we did go through and we did make some recommendations to additions to our existing 2014 budget. But as we started going through line items of the last year's budget, of this year's budget, the 2014 budget, we found a lot of discrepancies. And instead of coming here kind of half-cocked or half, but I wanted to present to you an intelligent and efficient report. So I would ask to defer that just to our next meeting, if that's okay. We had made some proposals, and I would like to present everything intelligently and efficiently all at one time. That's my goal. Our committee has been actively working on our finance, and I realize we're in September and we're already starting to work on the 2015 budget. But this was a little bit more of a job, okay? Because we had appropriated money, and we're looking to reappropriate, and we want to do the right thing by our borough and by our residents. So that's my finance committee report. Very good.
Thank you. Yeah, Mr. James had discussed it with me, and I think the best thing to do would be to hold a meeting at the end of the month. It's already advertised, and everybody will have a copy of the full budget and be able to give their input, to not waste time. And Mr. James was okay with that, so that's what we'll do. We're gonna have a second meeting this month, okay? So you're all aware of it. Okay, any others?
Yeah, property committee. Now, I'm gonna make a motion that we buy a new truck.
No,
No?
you need to wait till we discuss things with the budget.
I'm getting close.
I understand, but please, I think the budget needs to be in front of you first, and
All right.
I think the 22nd would be.
22nd of September is
Would be our
the
meeting.
second and fourth Mondays are the ones that were advertised in January.
So our next meeting would be the 22nd.
the 22nd.
Good. That was one of our items.
That was one of the items.
That was one of the items on one of our line items.
All right, well,
Along
that's,
with some other things, I want to make sure.
okay, on the 22nd.
That's why we're trying to expedite it or move it along, because we realize it's getting cooler now.
Is that specific to the budget that night, right?
Yes, I mean, if something else comes up, like new business or whatever, we'll address that too, but
All right.
I think basically with all this commotion that went on here tonight, it's probably best to have a budget night where more commotion can go on, but directly, concerning the budget. And hopefully, everybody has a cup of coffee before they come. Okay. Any other committee reports? Okay, let's go to unfinished business. Do we have any unfinished business?
I have one.
Go ahead.
Because some of the calls I got from, I think it was 4, but 3 were from Bridge and 1 was from Spring. How are we doing with the eminent domain on Ridge Street?
I have a service issue with one of the, and I can talk about this in executive session because it's litigation. I have a service issue that needs to be, I'm trying to get information on one of the parties to serve.
concerns is, on one hand, it was stated that we were supposed to take it over for taxes, and the other one said eminent domain. Now, eminent domain would mean that we would have to pay a fair market value. Am I correct or not?
Yeah, but I don't know anything about what you're talking about, of taking it over for taxes. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, it's in the minutes somewhere.
That's not what, according to the minutes and the resolution that was enacted on that, that's not what the purpose was.
All right, and eminent domain means we would have to pay fair market value?
Right.
And you would have to get, who owns, everybody that's,
That's a little complicated.
yeah, with the property.
It's complicated because there's estates involved.
Well, the weeds have to be cut on that property, because that's what I'm getting calls about.
I know nothing about the weeds.
Yeah, I never heard of that either. Yet, I'm here anyway.
Pardon?
I said I haven't heard that yet, but I'm glad you're bringing it up, because I haven't heard anything about that here. And if you don't know about it, you can't address it. So thanks. What else do you have? Anything else?
Unfinished business? No.
Okay. Anybody else unfinished business? Okay, let's move on to some new business. Some new business is, for those of you up in the 9th Street area, I think there's someone, or anyone that may call you and say, hey, what's going on? At 9th in between 9th and Center there, they're replacing a fire hydrant. So if there's any digging and commotion and people contact you, that's what's going on, okay?
When's that supposed to happen?
I don't know, it could happen within 10 days. So I'm not sure what the water companies, you know.
Light and Center, you said?
Yeah, in between them.
Yeah, that's up the street.
Yeah, okay, so if anybody calls you from 9th Street area, they're putting in a new fire hydrant. Just informing. You also received a member alert from the PSAB I have in all your packets. The PSAB is urging borough officials to oppose the proposed rule change from the U.S. Environment, EPA, and the Army Corps of Engineers that would clarify what waters are and what waters are not protected under the Federal Clean Water Act. And why is this bad for boroughs? The rule change would give federal government greater authority over public and private waters and land. For local governments, these changes could stop, delay, or increase costs of public projects and make managing public infrastructure more difficult. While the PSAB understands that stormwater runoff has a significant impact on the environment, it is another underfunded mandate facing local government. It could also be an expanded regulation of routine farming practices and impact Pennsylvania's #1 industry. And they would like us to act. On the back of the info, there is an example resolution, and they are trying to encourage all boroughs, because it would hit the boroughs the hardest, because we don't have as much money as townships and cities. But what's the wish of council?
This will protect us from having to deal with this unfunded.
Well, what it does is gives PSAB, which has a lot of power in the legislature in Harrisburg, when they have an issue, they need numbers. And what they're asking us is if you think this is a good situation and it should be taken care of, and I think it should. We just send this resolution in from the borough of West Easton. That's basically what it is. It goes to PSAB, and they accumulate, and if they get, a tractor trailer full of them, they send it to the legislators and let them fight over it.
Would council like to move forward in All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Is this under new business?
Yeah,
Have anything else?
Yeah. I do. You wanna say it? Go ahead.
I got, what looked like to be, printout of a blog and a phone call. They didn't identify themselves. That West Easton did not put in for the Gaming Commission grant. That was available to every community in Northampton County. So I did some checking, because I worked with the people in Northampton County Economic and Development Department. They said in 2012, we didn't apply. And this year we didn't apply. In June was the date it started, and August 6th was the deadline.
Bernie O'Hare wrote the project, wrote the blog, we're all aware of this. Go ahead. Are you,
I'm asking why we didn't put in for the grants. That were
am I the only one that writes grants?
No, why?
I just got $191,000 for curb cuts, more curb cuts that we would either be mandated to do ourselves or.
I realize that those grants
I don't have time
are
to do
wrote
every
by the
grant.
engineer. I know that. It's in the minutes that the engineer did the work.
Well, where do you
for
think all the
curb cuts.
projects and the information?
I'm not asking
and-
about curb cut grants. I'm asking about the gaming commission grants that were open to every community in Northampton
what's
Well,
County.
you're a council member, you can participate.
And I was told that the only way that we were notified was email to every municipality twice. Once before the applications and once 2 weeks before the deadline. And no one on council that I'm aware of was aware of this grant. Either in 2012 when I wasn't here and this year.
I didn't get the email.
And the grants were given out to almost every community, like Glendon, got $27,500 to redo their borough hall. Upper Mount Bethel got $27,500 for a salt and cinder storage facility. And this was non-matching grants. You didn't have to have matching grants to get this money. Why weren't we told that these grants were available?
Well, they didn't send it to Velvet Hammer, so.
And she told me that her name is Karen Collis, the head of the Gaming Commission that informs people. This borough was emailed twice. I don't know about 2012, but here's a list of people that got grants in 2012. She emailed me the list.
Showing off once a month isn't very helpful when it comes to writing grants.
I mean, this was free money from the casino. And all I'm asking is, why we didn't apply, either in 2012 or 2014.
Maybe we weren't aware of it. Like you weren't aware of it. Like
How could I be aware of it if it was emailed to this office?
Well, the thing is, you seem to know enough about it right
That's
now.
because I got a thing in my
Well, what do you want to do about it now?
Well, then I
What
think
What do you want to
it's,
do about it? I guess we're out 27,000, 50,000.
Dan.
you're blaming everybody else. It's never
You're
your
the most
fault.
hysterical person I ever saw. in
No,
my life.
what are you talking about? We missed out on big money.
That's right, you did. That's a shame, isn't it?
Maybe that's why when we talk about our monies, we need to look into a part-time manager or something, so we can have someone here at the
Exactly.
office, someone that can receive everything, so it's not such a load on Kelly. We have someone to manage the things that go on in this town. There's someone here, when people call, there's someone here that can answer their questions that has an idea.
We used to have Jill Garcia. Jill
I have this
Garcia,
letter here, it's stuck in my door the other day, and I was just going to give it here tonight, and it's about I don't know who it's from, and my name is typed on it.
That's what I got, Louis. Is it a paper from
Did
looks like a blog?
you put it in my door?
No, I said I got one too. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah, but you called Louis and asked him if he's opening the mail in the borough. That's what he told me.
I said, did he come down and get his mail, not open the mail?
Well, this is what he told me.
Well, you told me that you received a letter that stated that I, Louis Nickel, would come down to the office here and open up the borough mail.
No. I said, did you come down and get your mail? Because
No.
I didn't know if you got that letter like I got.
I'm sorry, Dan, no, that's not what I heard. That's not what you told me. And I says no. And I asked you, who sent the letter?
I don't know, I got a letter just like you got.
Oh, this is for,
I don't know if anybody else got one. And that's beside.
one we were just talking about there is from the casino money.
Lehigh Valley
And
Grant.
we were two boroughs there that didn't apply for it. But what I'm talking about is that letter that you said, you asked me if I was coming down here to open up the mail. And I said no. And I asked you, who sent that letter? And then you said, well, you didn't know.
I didn't know, and I asked you if you came down and got your mail, because I wanted to know if you're getting the same mail that I'm getting, whether it was in your door or in your mailbox.
What it was is that you asked me if I come down to open the borough mail. That's exactly what you told me. And I said no. Now don't go shaking your head.
I'm not shaking my head, I'm saying, if you got the same mail that I got, I wanted to know why we're not applying for the gaming commission grants.
Well, you're talking about gaming commission, I'm talking about
Well, I'm
opening
talking
mail.
about, yeah, the mail, that's what I consider mail. Did you get mail? Did you open up your mail and get the mail like I got?
That's not how he heard it, okay? Now, anything else? We didn't apply.
Yeah, you didn't answer my question, how come we're not applying
Everybody
for
knew.
free money?
We didn't apply. It was on the block, it was in the block. I got free money from the county development block grant. I can't be everywhere, so. You can be responsible for the casino grant.
I can't be responsible if the information doesn't come out of the
Well, now they
office.
have your email address, so I'm sure they'll send you. Do I have a motion for Dan DePaul to be responsible for the casino grant?
If the information
I have
comes,
a motion by Tom Modeling. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Louis Nico. All in favor?
no,
Roll call.
no.
Yes.
Mr. Nixon?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, yeses have it. Mr. DePaul is in charge of
I'm not the
casino
borough
grant.
manager. I'm not the borough
I'm not the
manager.
borough manager either.
That's why we need to look.
But I
into
can't.
that. If you're not the
Look,
borough
wait,
manager,
hold.
I make a motion that you hire a borough manager.
Hold it. We had a very good clerk. Her name was Jill Garcia. She took the minutes for 3.5 years. She did a lot of good work making sure all council members were informed. It does not mandate in the borough code that there is a manager here.
Yes,
If we
it
have,
does.
no, it doesn't. If we have a good
I thought we were all through.
If we have a good bookkeeper, like Jill was, and good at being organized because she knows numbers, and she did the minutes, but she was harassed. She was harassed for 2.5 years.
We all know that.
I'm not done. Excuse me, you don't like to be interrupted.
We know that.
She was harassed for 2.5 years. Did you not litigate this?
It's still being litigated.
We all know that.
Did 2 judges agree that she was criminally harassed?
Now we're going for a third.
Okay.
Can we find like a clerk or whatever she was?
We have been interviewing
All right,
people.
well, I don't know,
We
I'm not
had-
aware, I'm sorry, I'm
we
just
had-
asking.
We had 5 people here taking minutes that just didn't grasp the municipal side. They would be working great in private sector, but they weren't getting the municipal government part and all the extra paperwork that you need to keep track of things and files, and it was very difficult to train someone that doesn't think that way and is very structured and their experience is somewhere else. So we have been trying. We have it out right now with accountants, and they have working interviews where they actually come in for their interview and do the job. And then you see, can they do it or not, before you try them for a couple weeks. You can see if they're capable or not.
Yeah, I just feel we need something, you know what I mean? I mean, we sit here yelling at each other and pounding this and pounding that, like pointing a finger at this person and pointing a finger at that person. We need to get someone that's in here to try to get some kind of structure. And like your dad says, committees, we need to get back all our committees. Start meeting together, doing whatever we gotta do, and bringing things to you. You know what I mean? We just
I
gotta
addressed the
get back to
council
government.
January and February. I gave the council members all an expectation list of being a council member. And one of those things on that list was
Right here.
responsibilities of a council member. And this is just what I hold myself to. And I thought that at least you could make an effort. The powers and duties of council member of the Borough Council are set forth in the Pennsylvania Borough Code. These include, at a minimum, attending council meetings and voting on issues. In addition to legal requirements in the Borough Code and the Ethics Act, the following responsibilities should be observed by the members of the West Easton Borough Council. Number 1, our borough government functions more efficiently when it works through the committee system. That's number 1, I have it. The committee chairman should try to schedule at least one meeting a month. Even a brief committee meeting is better than no meeting. Number 2, the date and time of upcoming committee meetings should be announced at council meetings so that all committee meetings should take place at the Borough Hall. As courtesy, the mayor should be invited to attend all meetings. Number 3, council meetings are not committee meetings. Committees should do their work in advance and bring their agreed upon topic to the council meetings, which makes things a lot easier because you already have 3 that agree. You hash it out at committees and then you come back. Let's see, where was I? Number 4. Committee meetings are necessary to gather information about an issue, to thoroughly discuss the issue, and to come forward in a consensus among the committee members, so a thoughtful recommendation can be brought to council. Number 5. Committee assignments are made to take advantage of the diverse range of knowledge and skills of the council members. So some of you may not think you have input because your committee is not something you ever did, but through all of your experiences, you should be able to have a good conversation and come up with a consensus. Pretty much that's what that means. Committee members are not expected to be experts in their area of responsibility, but should do their best to educate themselves using reliable sources of information. All council members are encouraged to attend relevant seminars and webinars, if you can make it. And if you can't, and I happen to get information, sometimes you can get copies of the PowerPoint and something that has to do with your committee, I will forward it. I have already forwarded things to Paul James. He can attest to this when he was on the zoning hearing board. So I'm always looking out for you guys for info. Number 7, committee chairmen should be supported by their committee members. Assignments given to committee members by the chair should be diligently carried out. The goal is for the committee to work together to further objectives of the borough government. Number 8, any particular issue, it may take more than one committee meeting. So just because you have a meeting and you don't reach a consensus, at least you attacked the problem, you made some headway, and maybe the next meeting after it settles in, you can come to some kind of
I understand
consensus.
totally what you're saying. I've been on committees before.
I understand, but I'm glad you're getting it. Number 9, committees should avoid long discussions with no purpose. Decision-making is based on inadequate information, low attendance, uneven participation by the committee members, and unwillingness of committee members to be involved and ask questions. Number 10, the committee system is a good way to focus on objectives, share information, coordinate ideas, widen viewpoints, brainstorm, and divide up responsibilities. Number 11, each committee chair shall submit a written report on what issues were discussed, what recommendations, if any, the committee arrived at, and this report shall be prepared as soon as possible after the committee meeting and provided to the council president for distribution to everyone for the next council meeting. Number 12, in order for the borough council meeting to be as productive as possible, council members should pick up and review their individual information packets, including the agenda, well before each meeting. This will ensure that every council member is fully informed and ready to participate. If there are any specific questions that arise from the content of the informational packets, council members are encouraged to contact the council president for clarification as soon as possible. Number 13. I didn't realize I read so many things. The work of the West Easton Borough Council should be guided and informed by the following values. A, participation. We value and recognize the contribution of each council member and every resident in our community. B, quality. We value and strive for the excellence through an ongoing commitment and improvement. There's always room for improvement. Nobody's perfect, nothing's perfect. You just have to try to keep making things better. Solutions. We value accurate information as a cornerstone of problem solving on behalf of our community. And D, service. We value and devote ourselves to faithful service to our borough by providing the health, safety, and welfare of our residents. And this was received twice by all council members, and I think you can see how I feel committee meetings are important. And there was several here that start with committee meetings, or committee should, or chair people should. So please at least try to have one meeting a month, even if it's a short one, to say, do you have anything?
I don't even know, I like to be on a committee, I'm not even on a committee.
You were just unavailable. I think Tommy called you a number of times.
Well, I called Tommy a number of times and I couldn't get back to him, and after I talked to you that Wednesday and you were gonna talk to me that Thursday, then I.
All right, well, that's
again.
fine. So you didn't get on the committee yet, but we're not saying that, you're negligent, you just got here.
Understandable.
But there's other people that have been sitting here for many, many terms. And the mayor has, I don't know how many times, discussed how important the committee system is, which is what sort of reinforced and why I felt it was important to add my 2 cents and then share with everybody on council.
Well, since you read that, how about reading where none of us council members, no matter who you are, do not belong in the office doing official things. It's in the borough code. We need a borough manager, we need a treasurer. Who's the treasurer? I like to ask this question. Who's the treasurer?
We used to have a treasurer who quit in August of last year before Jill's situation.
We need a treasurer.
And if you can find one, we would be welcome to talk to him. I am not the only person that's filling voids here. I found a zoning officer right after Donna's death in 2010.
We should be doing all this stuff. Even the mayor said we should have a part-time borough manager, treasurer, and
We'll make a
someone.
motion for it.
We did, 2 times, but nobody wants to listen. I made a motion, do I have a second? We need a treasurer, we need a borough manager. I make a motion for both.
I'll make a motion and.
I just did.
And get it over with. We keep batting or going running around.
I'll second the motion. I think we should advertise, or at least, look into it. You always bring it up. I think it'd be the best thing. I know, that, like you even said, it's gonna be hard to come by. It's hard for the money we have and what we're looking for, but I think we really gotta try to find something, don't we? You think?
The history,
Finances first.
the history that we've had over the years.
Taxes,
We had
payroll,
one-
and everything's-
We had one borough manager that was here forever. It's, Anthony Razzak. Then the second one we got,
Brilliant.
Walt Baran. Then the third one we got was Dick Foster, and he actually wasn't a borough manager. He was a clerk, but he did the best he could do, and he was was sort of put upon us.
But he had accounting skills.
Didn't we?
Yeah, he did accounting work.
A motion to.
And
look into it?
Yeah, but
since that,
Excuse me, there's talking here.
and since Donna died, and at that time,
Don't forget that.
Zalmar, there's the example that it's a hard nut to crack to find somebody. We had a council committee that interviewed 5 different guys, and they picked this guy from Bethlehem, who, with his credentials, he was involved in the borough, the city of Bethlehem for years, blah, blah, blah. He just didn't cut it. He wasn't capable of running a small borough, and he just created more problems, and he left. We then appointed Donna, I don't know, what's her title, assistant acting borough manager at a nothing rate. And Donna was a good clerk, worked hard all the time, but she wasn't capable of doing the things. That's how the president got involved in the borough offices. At that time, we
I
had,
wasn't even council president back then. Louis was council president. He went in the hospital. I didn't want the borough to get behind. And that's when I started to like be in the office now and then.
Well, if we had a borough manager, we could have received from the gaming commission
Oh,
in
let's get off that,
2012,
Dan.
almost
Dan,
30,
let's get off that.
40,000. I know, we don't want to talk about missing out on
We missed out on
Yeah,
it.
we missed out on it forever.
Listen, the
But
first,
we've gotten other ones. It's not like we don't get anything.
hey Dan, what you don't know, because I did talk to some of those people, and you know what my comment was when we didn't get the first time request? I said, we're on the Lehigh River, and the Lehigh River runs past the Sands Casino. And you know what he says? You're too small. Now, all of a sudden, because of the pushbacks of boroughs, they're saying, hey, we're part of this Lehigh, Northampton County situation.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
That's restricted
All
grants,
right.
and we're uncommitted grants. We're all eligible.
Dan, listen, for a change, you've been dwelling on this grant thing, and I understand it. We missed it. We missed it, just like we missed Charlie. Okay?
Yeah, we missed it. We could have paid for it.
I understand that. We could have paid for this, we could have paid for that. But right now, we have a bigger problem. And Paul's got the problem. Give him some suggestions. Give him an idea where he has to be in those items. So when you come to this meeting on the 22nd, instead of a lot of bullshit stuff, let's start talking about what we really need to cover in this borough. And that's where we gotta be.
Yeah, that's why I'm bringing it up now. We need big money to cover the
No, we
things
don't
that
need
we
big
want to buy.
money. No, we don't need big money. That shows you.
We're using taxpayers instead of the casino's money.
Hey, you know what our biggest industry in this town is? Just give me one.
Big industry?
Yeah, what's the biggest industry?
Probably
No,
Miller's Hardware.
the biggest industry we got in this town, is the taxpayer. Every homeowner in this town. We have nowhere else to go. I'd love to be able to bring people into this town. George Johnson, I talk to him all the time. I said, when are you going to get somebody in the old Ingersoll building? When are you going to, he's trying. He's remodeled. He's got 3 different guys in there, but they're not going to bring any employees in here. We had 1,800 employees in this town at one time. And you know how much they did for us? They did, a lot of taxpayers' money didn't have to be spent because those big industries were paying for us. We don't have that anymore.
Well,
So
we got-
you can throw that taxpayer thing out there and raise taxes, but I want to tell you something. We've been strapped 8 mils of taxes just to pay for the Easton Police Force every year. Now we got that money back there. Now's the time to be intelligent and use that damn money for the right things that you're complaining about. Yeah, it's taxpayer money, but it can be used now. And before we go out and say it's a rebate situation or we'll adjust it in the next tax situation, let's be intelligent this time. And in the next round of grants for that, let's go after it. Let's not be Johnny come lately every time something happens and then start throwing darts here and there.
If it wasn't done, it wasn't done, it's over, let's try to get it the next time.
I know, we want to talk about it now because we were told twice, 12 and 14
You don't know that.
We're eligible for
You were
$50,000,
told.
but now we're just sweeping it under
Dan,
the rug.
you're on your bandwagon tonight, but you were told,
Told what?
you were told that we got a text or email. I don't know if we got
Oh,
one.
how was I told we got email?
You
I
just
wasn't told
said-
anything from the office.
You just said it. You
I
just
was
said,
told by blog after the fact.
that's what I just said. You
He
were
said-
told by that
You were
person.
told by the county that.
Whoever.
Yeah, after the fact, I called up the county and they told me that
That's all I said.
the rounds are over.
Alright, we
you
already
apply,
like
you're
talked
not
about this.
gonna
like,
get nothing.
20
Landon
different
gets
ways.
27.5, but we get nothing.
Since the personnel
I would
committee,
check
the
into that
legal
before.
personnel committee is already working with an employment agency to get somebody for the office. Do I have a motion to make Mr. DePaul in charge of finding applicants for treasurer?
That should go treasurer? Okay, I'll make a motion right now.
No, I'm asking for one.
Okay, go ahead.
I make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, good. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I found somebody, Carl Pearson, came over from his house and said he wants to be treasurer of West Easton Borough. There you go.
He already asked me, and the borough doesn't pay him enough. He wants $12,000. We pay $1,200.
You want to pay 12 grand?
Then I'll have to check with Mr. Pearson, he said he wanted to be treasurer.
I already offered it to
I know you did.
him
I'll ask him.
last summer, and he said, how much does it pay? I
I'll ask
said
him to come down.
$1,200. He said, oh, I'm not doing that for that amount of money.
Okay.
I said, I'm sorry,
Well,
but that's what's in the budget
I'll
right
ask
now.
him, I'll ask him.
12 grand?
We got one guy that's interested, let's see if we can get him
That's
to the
half
right
the
place.
price.
Well, if you can get him for that amount, that's moved up from $400 that Mr. Chalesky used to get. Okay, so it went from $400 to $1,200. I think that's a huge raise from what our last treasurer got.
Okay.
So if you can get him for that, God bless you. I tried.
Well, I'm not saying I can get it, whatever
Please,
the
your neighbor,
agreement
maybe
is,
it'll,
I'll bring it to council.
Maybe he'll
Not like
receive
that
it
when the
better.
office doesn't
You know
bring
what?
it to
Stop arguing. Holy crap.
Well, at least I'm letting
All
council
right,
know.
and I have new business still. You all have in front of you being contractor with the hourly rates that aren't much different from last year. And these are the people last year that cleaned our intersections and removed the heaping mounds of snow. I need a motion to accept this proposal for snow removal services if we do need it. If we don't approve it, we are on a list and they get here when they get here. If we do approve it, they're here very quickly, because it's like a contract.
I make the motion we approve Bean as our snow emergency removal.
Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. They're the people we had last year, and they did a very good job. Okay, do I have a motion to go in executive session?
I'll make the motion to go into executive session.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, no business.
I'm sorry. I got distracted from getting yelled at all night. One more new business. I have it right here too. I guess we're going to vote on the two applicants that are before you. One applicant is here. He registered to vote on the 11th, and he has all his application. He lives in the borough for over a year. The other applicant is a super voter, couldn't be with us tonight due to his sister being in hospice.
They're both registered Democrats, correct?
Yeah. Okay, so, Dan DePaul.
Well, I'm making a nomination for Robert Lewis, and like I said before, in my motion, my nomination, I was informed that there was somebody that I did not know, interested.
You don't need
All I
to
did
rehash all
was
this.
tell
I'm
him
just looking for nominations.
I nominate Robert Lewis.
Any other nominations?
Yeah, Vernon Moore.
A motion to close nominations.
I make that motion.
Okay, by voice vote. Dan McCall.
Robert Lewis.
Paul James.
Vernon Moore.
What do you want, what are you doing right now? I can't hear
If
you.
they're voting on
Mr. Nixon.
Robert Lewis.
And more?
that's what he said, Vernon Moore and Lewis, two names.
Who's
Tom.
Listen,
Um,
it's your turn.
Vernon Moore.
You're telling them who they want.
I'm voting for Vernon Moore because he's active and votes. And that's the only reason.
Make more, more,
For
Vernon Moore.
Vernon Moore. Okay, we have 4 for Vernon Moore and 2 for Ron Lewis.
Robert.
Robert Lewis, I'm sorry. Robert Lewis. So Vernon Moore has the seat on Borough Council.
When I swear him in at the meeting in
The end of the month, Mr. Mayor?
yeah, that'd be fine. Okay.
Do you need the paper? We'll make the paper for him, the oath that he has to sign, but do you have the oath?
No,
Okay.
I haven't.
Make sure you get it too, so you're prepared.
It was changed by the state.
I'll put it in your packet. All right, I'm sorry. Now, a motion for executive session.
I make that motion.
A motion by Mr. Nolly.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Nixon. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're going into executive session at 9:07.
Everybody has to leave.